welcome to the Soul Shift channel. Good to see you all again. Today I will share with you how the Miracle Morning became a very big part of my transformation. So at that self-leadership course that I joined, we were introduced to the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And after listening to the book, I got really inspired and decided to give Savers a try. At this time, as I mentioned earlier, I had a very hard time getting out of bed, and I snoozed a lot. Since I was struggling with self-belief and trusting my own abilities, the snoozing part was a horrible thing to do. I started every morning by not following through on what I had decided the night before that I should do. So the silence in Savers stood for meditation, and at that time it simply helped me move myself from the bed to an armchair and sit there for 5 minutes. I was basically sitting there half asleep for 5 to 10 minutes, but I did get out of bed. And it was much easier to convince myself to leave the bed when I knew I only had to sit in a chair. It worked. And for the first time in a long while, I managed to get out of bed when the alarm clock went off. Affirmation was something we worked with a lot during the course as well. And I built mine as a story about my dream life. I included where I wanted to live, with whom and how I wanted my health to be, the weight I wanted to achieve, my biggest desires, my work situation. And I created a text that I repeated to myself 10 times every morning. Parts of the affirmation I wrote back then are still in use today. But of course, my dreams have developed. I have received new insights, and I definitely have grown as a person. For me, those affirmations somehow help me keep going, even if the journey has taken a long time, and I'm still far from where I want to be. But every day is a new lesson in life, and every day brings an opportunity to grow. So this affirmation helped me to actually stay on the path that I wanted to be on. At that time, I found the visualization part very difficult, mainly because I hadn't really figured out what I truly wanted yet. But some things were clear, and I focused on those things, trying to picture my future self in different situations. Looking back now, I feel that I simply didn't have all the knowledge yet to build that dream life. I still didn't really know what I loved doing or I truly wanted my life to look like. But I started with small parts that I knew I wanted, and I practiced the visualization part. Sometimes just keeping the focus on the dream was a challenge. Nowadays, I sometimes speak my visualization out loud, and that feels easier for me. My morning walks in the forest became the perfect exercise, and that was such a blessing because it would have been much harder if I had also needed to build, a completely new exercise routine from scratch. So instead, I could simply add the rest of Savers onto the routine I had already built. For example, I spoke my affirmation during my forest walks. And another part which of the Savers, which were very important for me at that time, was the reading. As I mentioned earlier, I was rarely able to finish a book. But reading now became a part of my morning routine, which meant that I actually didn't fall asleep while reading. I continued reading for 10 to 20 minutes every morning. that I did my savers, and I felt so proud of myself when I finally finished my first book. That was another small victory for my self-confidence. I was no longer someone who didn't read. Instead, I knew that I would eventually finish the book. It might take time, but in the end, it would get done. What I learned about myself is that something that serves me and my growth at one point in life might not do so at a later stage. I still do save or savers many times a week, but nowadays it looks very different from how it looked back then, simply because I have changed and my needs have changed as well. During this whole process, I have also listened to many, many books. And one that really helped me was the Silva method. And I will tell you all about that next time and how I have used this method in different ways. Thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all next time.